We have a massive Jrue Holiday update as the shoulder injury that we've labeled as dead arm doesn't look as serious as he comes out and says that he'll be A-okay. The star guard is getting some rest and it looks like he'll be ready for the playoffs. Plus, two other guards in Derrick White and Payton Pritchard have been fantastic for this Boston Celtics team the last couple of stretches, and we just clinched the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, so we have to break all of that down in this episode here on Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we get in on all this news, though, 73% of our viewers are not subscribed, so I'd appreciate it if you guys hit that subscribe button down below if you guys enjoy the content. Check out our other links as well to find out us on Twitter and to find out our Discord where you can interact with other Celtics fans as well. Without further ado, though, let's get ready to dive into this video. Make sure to grab a snack, but we got a Jrue Holiday update, like I mentioned. And in our last video, if you guys missed it, you guys can check it out. But we mentioned how Jrue Holiday had a thing called dead arm, which, may have related to a nerve issue. It was when he ran into a screen into Washington. His shoulder kind of went limp a little bit. People were speculating that he was not going to be ready for the playoffs. People were speculating it was a bigger injury than what the Celtics were making it out to be. But we are A-okay. Like we mentioned, he was warming up versus the Chicago Bulls in last game, which was a big sign. But we got some more news. We got a tweet here from Jared Weiss saying, on Jrue Holiday on his sprained AC joint in his right shoulder that has him out tonight versus Atlanta. He said, it's not a dead arm. I got hit on my shoulder and it felt like my arm went dead, but it's not a nerve thing or anything. It's just a part of the shoulder that I got hit in, but my shoulder is fine, which is fantastic news to hear for the Boston Celtics. And as we see from Gary Washburn, from G Washburn Globe here, Jrue Holiday had another light workout after shoot around for the Celtics and Hawks matchup. Like we mentioned, he's not going to be playing tonight. He'll be sitting in his fourth consecutive game out for the Boston Celtics, but he is progressing. He is getting better. And like with Kristaps Porzingis sitting out 5 games in a row to nurture, a hamstring issue, the Celtics are being very, very precautious and making sure that all these injuries are healed before the start of the playoffs or before the thick of it. Because like we mentioned, the Celtics are cruising. They're chilling. They got the #1 seed locked up. There's really no worries here. The Celtics can, have some fun, experiment with some fun lineups like they have in the last couple games. Like we mentioned, 8 different starting lineups in the last 9 games, which is just crazy to see from the Boston Celtics. A bunch of versatility, a bunch of new things coming out. Like we mentioned, let us know what you think about Jrue Holiday down below in the comment section. I'm personally not that worried. I think he'll be A-okay. They're just resting him, make sure he's ready to go. You see him in the shoot-arounds. You've seen him getting his workup. So it's not like it's limiting his shoulder that much. Obviously, it's still restrictive. But playing against teams, some of these bad teams, we don't necessarily need Jrue Holiday out there. The Hawks, another team near the middle of the pack towards the bottom. Team who doesn't want to be in the play-in, but kind of is just because of how the East is shaped up and how they, have fallen through. A team that's probably going to be eliminated. The Celtics should be able to take care of them. And like I mentioned, if you guys want to come out and enjoy some Celtics content, make sure to join the live streams. We have watch-along live streams for every single Boston Celtics game. And tonight, we'll have another watch-along between the Atlanta Hawks. So if that's something that interests you, if you find that fun, make sure to come join us. Make sure to watch the game alongside myself. And we'll have some great commentary to go alongside with the game. But some more news detailing on the Boston Celtics is the Celtics backcourt is insane. And man, oh man, have the Boston Celtics been on fire. In our last couple of videos, if you guys have missed them, check them out. But I mentioned how Payton Pritchard has been on fire for the Boston Celtics, shocking everybody, proving that he could be a starting caliber point guard in the NBA. Then we dive in and looked and talked about how Sam Hauser has been the best shooter. And I know I was a little over-exaggerate, talking about him, comparing him to Steph Curry, talking him compared to Damian Lillard. But if you guys missed it out, check in the community page because you guys can see that he's having fantastic shooting numbers and is only mirroring guys like Steph Curry, James Harden-esque players like that. So Sam Hauser is definitely developing into one of the best catch and shoot, if not three-point shooters across the whole NBA, and could be likely being seen a Duncan Robinson contract-esque soon. But forget about Sam Hauser, forget about that. Let's dive in and discuss how impactful this team has been. Another tweet here from Taylor Snow, which shows that Derrick White in his last 5 games has 94 points, 40 assists, and 5 turnovers, while Payton Pritchard has 91, 40 assists, and 5 turnovers. And the crazy part is these are the only 2 players in Celtics history to score over 90 points, hand over 40 assists, and commit no more than 5 turnovers in a 5-game span. And they did it at the same time, which is just blasphemous to think. Guy like Derrick White has been huge for the Celtics. We've seen him, miss some games due to the newborn son that he had having some kids. But besides that, he's been in this starting lineup consistently. And he doesn't always, just show up every single day, but he's consistent on the basketball court as well. Playing fantastic either on the offensive and defensive side, and truly working himself to an all-defensive first team. I desperately think he deserves that. And Payton Pritchard, another guy who's been heating up. Fans will be saying, oh, Payton Pritchard's not worth that contract. Oh, Payton Pritchard's not worth that. Oh, he's only averaging 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. But those are the box watchers. Those are the box score watchers. Those are the casual people that aren't diving into these games. Like we mentioned, Payton Pritchard has been on fire in the last 5 games, 91 points, 40 assists, 5 turnovers, shooting over 50% from the field and 50% from 3. I keep harping on it, but he could be a starting caliber guard across the NBA, and the Celtics have other starters as well that are coming off their bench. Stay ready mentality, Al Horford, the true veteran of the squad, could easily be starting on plethora of these teams, and possibly even Sam Hauser for the ability of his 3-and-D wing size and his shooting ability. In my honest opinion, this Celtics team is built for a championship. And as we all know, the Boston Celtics have clinched the best record in the Eastern Conference this morning, which is just huge. Another thing for the Boston Celtics not to worry about, as the Celtics have not lost to an Eastern Conference opponent in the last 27 games at home, which is just crazy to think about. They haven't lost a home game this year versus an Eastern Conference opponent. Their 3 losses at home were all to Western Conference opponents, and it just goes to show you that this Celtics squad is built to run the Eastern Conference. We want to look at the Eastern Conference right here. An 11-game lead over the Bucks. The Celtics, first team to clinch a true playoff spot. Yes, teams like the Knicks, teams like the Cavs, like the Bucks, the Magic, they've clinched at least a play-in berth, but the Celtics have clinched the conference before a team has clinched a berth. Just goes to show you how on fire this squad is, how built top to bottom this team is. If we want to look at the Western Conference as well, you can see the difference between the Nuggets and the Lakers, the 1 to the 9 seed, is the difference between the Celtics and the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Going to show you the dominance that this team has performed. 57-14, gonna chase that 60-20, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic when the Boston Celtics can eclipse that. Like I keep mentioning, they have about 8 guys that can be in a starting lineup. Jaylen Brown has turned up from this All-Star break, shifting another gear from already being a fantastic caliber player on both sides of the ball, really locking on that defensive side. Jayson Tatum, being that 1A star, has truly shown it for the Boston Celtics. Derrick White being super clutch. Kristaps Porzingis being super versatile. Jrue Holiday being so sacrificing like Al Horford. These 2 veterans realizing we need to sacrifice our role for the team's success, and they've done that. Al Horford coming off the bench. Jrue Holiday being that 4th, 5th option on the offensive side of the ball, but mainly really being that number 1 guy on the defensive side. And like we mentioned, big time step ups on the bench from Payton Pritchard, Sam Hauser. Even Luke Kornet has really turned a new leaf with a lot of Boston Celtics fans from the start of the season, including myself, and I'm really geared to see him in the playoffs. We got energy guys like Brissett, Tillman, Springer, guys that are going to want to come in, maybe spark some energy for the bench. Let me know what you guys think down below, but I think the Celtics are going to control this Eastern Conference, and they have a clear path to getting to the NBA Finals. But lastly, before we finish off the video, comment of the day. As you guys know, if you're new here, breakdown comment of the day, one of our favorite new things that we have to this channel. So if you guys enjoy this content, if you want to be featured on comment of the day, let us know your thoughts and opinions, and you can be picked for the next video. But today, we got one of our long-term supporters here, the Rob version 1, guy who's been supporting us since the beginning, and he had to say this. He says, while I agree that Payton Pritchard can start for a handful of teams at point guard, I think naming him for Washington is unlikely. Tyus Jones is just not playing, and I don't think he's a foregone conclusion that starts over Tyus. What's more realistic is Payton Pritchard can be a bona fide 6th man of the year backup point guard for a lot of teams. Payton Pritchard, in my opinion, is a top 25 to top 30 PG in the NBA and arguably a top 140, 150 player in the NBA. As for Sam, hopefully once we have to pay him, Al/Drew have retired or are taking massive pay cuts. Now, Rob, I have a lot to say about your comment here. First off, Kind of forgot about Tyus Jones with the Washington Wizards, so there you are right. I will agree with you. He wouldn't be able to start over the Wizards, but teams like the Magic, teams like the Spurs, he could definitely fit in and be a major contributor for those squads, being a perfect catch and shoot guy, but also, the ability to drive at the rack and go at some bigger guys has really evolved Pritchard's game on the offensive side. It's allowed teams to, not just worry him as a spot-up shooter, not just worry about him as that, but have to worry about it when he has the ball in his hands, because he's also a fantastic playmaker as well. Like you mentioned, Payton Pritchard can be a sixth man of the year backup PG. I truly think so. I thought that at the beginning of the season. After this preseason, I had very, very high hopes for Payton Pritchard to, push up and move up on those ranks to be a sixth man of the year. Fortunately, he hasn't lived up to that, but same things he's been doing, though, this second half of the season have been insane and truly proving that maybe next year he could do it, and maybe I was a little bit too early. Like you mentioned, Sam Hauser, wanting to extend him will be a big-time thing for this Boston Celtics squad. Hopefully, Al Horford at that point will have taken a pay cut. Jrue Holiday, I'm expecting to be extended for this season. We'll take a little bit of a pay cut, racking around $30 million. And I truly think that we'll have enough money to be able to keep Sam Hauser, hopefully, through the next season. But we'll have to wait and see. He might get a big-time deal and leave, and that'd be a-okay as long as Sam Hauser sticks with us for the long run and can perform for us in big-time moments throughout this season. That's what I'm expecting, and we wish the best for Sam regardless, with the team or without. But like I mentioned, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode here. If you guys enjoy the content, check out the videos up top, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to check us out in that live stream like I harped. If you guys are at this point in the video, come join us tonight. It'll be really, really fun to watch this game, break it down with all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.